Hello, everyone. My name is Richard Burke. I am the Executive Director of Western Liberty Network, and this is the latest in a series of Saturday trainings and informational sessions. And today we have State Representative Ed Diehl, who is going to talk to us about what's going on in the special session. We'll be able to ask questions if you have questions. People may come in throughout the course of the session. And before I turn it over to Representative Diehl, I'm going to go through a few items. First of all, I want to point out that Western Liberty Network is a 501c3 organization. As such, we do not endorse or oppose any political party, partisan candidate, nonpartisan candidate, legislation, or ballot measure. What we do is we provide information and we train people on how to do politics where they live, and they, of course, are free to use the the training material in any manner that they see fit. There may be partisan statements by some of our guests and participants, but those are their statements and do not necessarily represent the views of Western Liberty Network. With regard to Western Liberty Network, I'm going to bring up a web page and show you some resources that are available to you by sharing the screen. Just a moment. See if I can master this technology at all. Okay. Here we go. On your screen, you should now see the homepage of Western Liberty Network. As you can see at the top, we always have whatever we're working on right now. Of course, this is going to be the session with Ed Diehl, so we have his wonderful photograph here and how to sign on. This is LC2, a copy you can download and read. And during the time when testimony could be offered, we have this link so people can use that. Going down here, you see other things that Western Liberty Network has been doing, and you see some assets that you can use at your convenience. For example, at our last conference with Guy Benson of Fox News, we had a number of breakout sessions with PowerPoint presentations. All of those can be downloaded right here, no problem. So all of that is available for you to look at, and there may be some issues here that are important to you. Going down, you see more such resources. Go down some more, and you will continue to see more and more. There's just a lot here. Here's a speech from Dennis Linthicum you can listen to. Christina Soltis, who is a Eastern European person who was elected to a city council in Washington State. Just a lot of resources. And if you would like to learn how to run for local office, how to serve, or how to be a citizen lobbyist or a skilled volunteer, you can always go to the training tab. The training tab will take you here. Well, there we go. Okay, at the very top, we talk about the kinds of trainings that are available. Down here, you've got some topics for training documents that we have. This one, for example, the basics of lobbying. You will get this. You can download it or print it. It's not copyrighted. You can do what you want. The important thing is the information getting out. Scroll down farther, and there's all kinds of topics here on aspects of being a grassroots advocate. And at the very bottom is a single PDF file containing all of WLN's training documents. So that saves you a lot of clicks. Scroll down a little further and you've got some videos. These are videos, and the one we're doing today will be posted along with all of these others. How to raise money, how to do phone canvassing, and these are recordings of similar sessions like the one that we're conducting right here. So quite literally, between the videos and the documents, you can design your own training curriculum. Here it shows some of the affiliates that we have that subscribe to Western Liberty Network training, and we're starting to branch into other states. Information about our organization, if you want to know who's involved, who the we is when I refer to we at Western Liberty Network. And of course, if you like what we're doing, you can always make a tax-deductible contribution online by clicking on our support WLN page. And that's always important because this is the money that we use to do online training, live in-person training all over the state, and of course our annual conference, which will be on January 31st this year. So mark that day, January 31st. And you will be able to go to our conference. We have a reception the night before, and Representative Diehl has already generously agreed to lead a breakout session or so at that session. So here we are. We are now at the point where I will turn the microphone over to Representative Diehl, and if you would do so, please tell us just a little bit about yourself, and then go into sort of a summary of what happened yesterday at the special legislative session.
You bet, Richard. Well, great to be here. Yes, I represent House District 17, which covers East Salem through the Santiam Canyon. It's my honor to represent this district. I've lived here in this same house since 97, so I've been here a while, and I raised my family in this district. My wife works with me in the legislature. Prior to that, we had a business that I started, an engineering related business. We did factory automation and control systems. And I started that and sold it in 2018 and thought I would retire. And then I took this crazy job. So, but the reason I'm here, I love my state and I cannot stand, frankly, the direction that it's going. And so I'm trying to do my best to fight the good fight and stand up for conservative values in the building. And fortunately, I have a lot of good colleagues on my side that share the same values and are willing to do that fight. But it's a tough hill, as you guys know, in Oregon. So, but it's an honor to be here. Where we're at, I think everybody knows that we were called into an emergency session. The governor called that. It's an emergency now to raise your taxes. So we are in there to push against a bill that would be jacking your gas taxes up 15%, doubling the payroll taxes, in some cases doubling DMV fees, and something I think is pretty egregious. It actually gives DAS the authority to adjust tax rates by rule if the legislature doesn't act. Uh, that might not even be constitutional. We're still evaluating that possibility, but it's still in the legislation. So a lot of us are there to fight this darn thing and to present an alternative vision that does not require taxes to go up, that gives more authority to ODOT to reallocate money.
Now, Representative Diehl, for those who may not know, who are watching the recording or even here today, quorum is a concept by which you need a minimum number of people to do business. And one of the tactics of the minority party is to not be present at a legislative session in order to deny the majority party quorum. Understand there were issues related to quorum yesterday. Could you please sort of review that process as the day went on?
Yeah, so basically there's two levels here. One, this is a tax bill, so it requires 36 votes to pass, a 3/5 majority in the House. And then the Senate's got 30 people, so 18 to pass the Senate. Let's focus on the House here. So basically we said, look, this is a lopsided bill. You haven't really brought us to the table on this. If you guys want to pass it, you can pass it, but it's all on you. We'll give you 4 people. And so 4 Republicans showed up, and they didn't have 36 Democrats. They did not show. Some of them weren't even in the state. I really don't know what they were thinking, how they thought this was gonna work. So they did not even have enough people on the floor to start the session, much less have, yeah.
Um,
So anyway,
Representative, let me ask you, let me
yeah.
interrupt you for a second here. My understanding is that a governor of just about any state, when they call a special session, they usually have the votes lined up in advance before they call a special session.
Well, they've
What
been telling
happened?
us, yeah, they've been telling us all along that they have the votes.
Mm-hmm,
We'll see. I know that there are that a lot of Democrats have been hearing from their constituents, and that's important that we have to have voters and taxpayers continue to reach out to their legislators, Democrat and Republican, and
mm-hmm,
remind them what the financial impact is. The average household will pay an additional $330 a year. And I've
wow.
had some people be very flippant about that. What's the big deal? That's a big deal for a lot of people,
Yeah, that's an electric bill. That's
especially right now because what we're seeing is inflation. Everything's more expensive, but people's paychecks are not keeping up. That shows up in the data, and it's also reflected every time I'm out talking to folks. I had a town hall on Wednesday,
mhm,
and I had a packed place of people who were not happy with the governor's proposal, and that includes ODOT employees.
mhm.
I have a
So,
question.
Oh, go ahead.
yeah,
Again.
Go ahead, Dr. Mansfield.
Is this bill still totaled at 5 billion over 5 billion each year, or is it over 10 years? What is the
yeah,
timeline?
it's 5.8 billion over 10 years. And it's House Bill 3991.
Yeah, so that's the same one they did in 2017, which they did a bill like this. It's supposed to be for 10 years of $5 billion too.
And that bill was supposed to fix everything, right?
Yeah. Oh, no, we're putting more money into something that's not been even been looked at and fixed yet.
Yes.
That makes no sense.
In 2017, and I've done a few posts on this, but in 2017 we passed a tax and fee increase, and much of it was like the gas tax was incremented up a couple cents a year over several years. And the promise was, hey, we're going to work on these projects. We're going to do the Rose Quarter project. We're going to do the Abernathy Bridge. This will fund those things. Maintenance, the same things you're hearing today about maintenance, they were discussed in 2017.
Mhm,
So what happened is we went ahead and we've incremented those gas taxes up. There was supposed to be accountability for each one of those gas tax increases. That was built into that bill. But apparently, accountability is just submitting a report to the legislature
Okay.
because the Abernathy Bridge isn't done, the Rose Quarter project's not done. But yet here we are, and we're being asked, hey, we're going to do it this time. We'll be accountable this time. And I'm like, no way. You prove to me that you're accountable. And let's start by reprioritizing some of the money that you already get. And
mhm,
that's what Republicans are asking for. Reprioritize the money you're already getting.
mhm,
How how much
And
percentage of
and
this
and
money
there's money
actually goes?
there.
Yeah, I understand that not all of it actually goes to transportation. It goes to other things than general coffers, doesn't it?
It does. Now there's the majority of the highway fund is restricted. It has to go to transportation in some form or fashion, but that also covers administration, and it gets a little fuzzy when you're looking at, let's say you're looking at the Rose Quarter project, which started out at what most people would feel is a reasonable scope project, and it is ballooned into this $2 billion mega project with a cap over it that has parks and
Oh, this is the one
buildings.
for that
And
stupid bridge for animals. Is that
oh
the
yeah,
one?
no,
Okay.
this is to reconnect the communities that were divided years ago with the I-5 uh, bridge or with the through the Rose Quarter when I-5 was built. So they want to reconnect that community with this cap over the freeway. And it started out as, yeah, we'll connect some roads. And we can do that for $450 million. Today, maybe 600 million. Now it's over $2 billion.
wow.
And it includes a lot of things that are driven by the climate action plan.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I
Well, I
don't
read,
think a lot
yeah,
of that, frankly, should qualify for restricted funds.
yeah, I read that document too, that 2022 report to you guys. I says, you got to be kidding me.
Hmm.
Free the
Yeah.
place to do anything they want with any of the money they
Yeah.
want, the way it's written.
And the other thing, the legislature has taken certain funds and said you can only use them for these things. In fact, in what happened in 2017 is they said, we're going to increase the gas taxes over this next several years, but only 6% of that increase can go to maintenance.
Let
So
me
That's
we
what it's supposed
tied
to be
our
for.
hands. And what Republicans are saying, let's untie that and allow so that we can put it where people want the money. People
Where,
don't want electric buses, they want snow plows,
yeah,
you know?
where
let
it's
me let me
needed.
Want flower beds, they want potholes fixed.
Dr. Mansfield and Representative Diehl, let me interject at this point
Yeah.
with regard to
Sorry.
what the people have already thought with this bill.
Yeah.
A lot of times, I notice the people who are on the call live right now, they're leading activists, but the people who will view this recording later might be less experienced. And one thing I hear from activists is, boy, I don't think it makes a difference. They're just going to ram this through. But my
Hmm.
understanding is that there were thousands of notes, testimonies, calls, emails, etc., that came in overwhelmingly in opposition to these taxes. So could you speak for just a moment on the importance of grassroots involvement in issues like this and how you think it has impacted the special session so far?
It is so important. I'm trying to find a photo here for you. Um, it is so important that people show up and people write and speak out. That's what moves the needle. What I've seen in that building is we quite often vote, the legislature as a whole will vote in ways that I know are not popular with citizens. And they're betting that citizens are just not paying attention.
But that's
So
not the
when
case here.
citizens, no. So when citizens do pay attention, it gets their attention. Does it work every time? No. But there were some really bad bills this last session that we killed because of that.
Mhm.
This one is overwhelming. I think it's 95% of the testimonies in opposition to this bill.
And you think that's why some of the Democrats have been reluctant to provide a quorum?
I think it was more poor planning
Hmm.
than anything intentional. I have talked to some of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, and they really want to see something that's more bipartisan than what this is. Uh, um, but so they're trying to find some common ground here because they don't want to do it on their own.
But you think the
That tells me
grassroots
they're uncomfortable. Yeah.
But you think the grassroots activist has done something to embolden or
Yes.
stiffen the spines
Yeah.
of the Republicans in the session?
I think it's helped. Late that evening, we did provide quorum. We had 6 people go to the floor instead of 4. Um, I don't know what's going to happen on Sunday when session is called back again. We're not having session today.
Mhm.
But it does. It moves the needle for not only for Republicans, but I know it moves the needle for Democrats. We've had people show up to town halls and really give some of my Democrat colleagues an earful over this thing.
Yeah. Why do you think the additional two members of your caucus decide to join the legislative session as opposed to deny quorum?
I don't know. I think they may feel that it's inevitable,
Mhm.
and let's just move it along. Um, it
Hmm.
doesn't mean that we're going to provide that quorum will be provided tomorrow,
Sure.
so
I,
we'll see.
uh, as you know, I'm running for Senate, state Senate for our district over here. I would not do that. If I don't believe in it, I'm not going to sit there and vote for it just because, we need to move it along. No, you're there to fight for what is right for the people.
You're fighting for what is right, and like I asked folks on my social media, said, "Hey, here's the deal. I don't like this bill. I'm trying to come up with a different approach that people could accept, find some common ground here." Um, And I don't think there's a way for us to deny quorum. So should I stay out or should I be there and speak on your behalf? And pretty overwhelmingly people said, hey, if you can't deny quorum, then please be there, be our voice, uh, and tell people. So that was my plan, that if if we were going to engage and there was quorum, then I am going to be there.
Yeah, that makes
Uh,
sense.
yeah,
That's a logical decision. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, if they're gonna have a
yeah.
quorum anyway.
Because our job, we are there to represent, and I wouldn't want it to be full of people who agree with the bill or full of people who nobody's really willing to strongly speak out in opposition to it. I want to be there for
Hmm.
that.
So you're going
Okay.
to be on hand, not necessarily in the legislative chamber, but you'll be on hand in case a quorum is there, and then you'll go in and fight the good fight.
Yeah, you
Yep,
got
got it. Okay. Go ahead, Mike.
Absolutely no one here.
it.
I see that.
So, as I recall, a few years ago, Pete Buttigieg gave ODOT $1 billion. What happened to that money? Why is that not being factored into any of this?
I'm not sure which amount of money you're talking about, but here's how this works just in general with funding. There's constitutional restrictions on how state highway funds like gas taxes, DMV fees can be used. There, our state constitution really restricts them. They can only be used for roads and so on. Federal funds cannot be used for maintenance. We can do big projects. We can build a bridge, we can do things like that, but for regular road maintenance, you can't use it.
Now,
Okay.
is
What
that
that means is the most restricted bucket we have is for maintenance. And then the
so?
state legislatures restricted that even more.
I guess if federal funds are coming in, is it a state thing that says ODOT can't spend that on maintenance, or is that
No,
contingent
the
as
federal
part of what the
government,
federal's saying?
federal says yeah, you don't use it for maintenance. That's my
Yeah.
understanding.
But
It's
it
the
could
federal requirement.
like on the
There's also matching fund requirements. So, if we're going to get $9 from the feds, we got to chip in a buck. Uh,
okay.
depends
Because
on the project and so
yeah,
on.
because that's what I was wondering. He kept saying, "Oh, we can't do it on certain things because it's not maintenance." Well, certain roads is not just maintenance, it's a total rehab of the road, like
Yeah.
26. That's not a maintenance thing. That is a fix thing that needs to be done. Same as
Yeah.
six.
And so some
Okay.
of those projects could qualify for federal funds.
Yeah.
But I'll pick on the Rose Quarter project again. That you could say, well, that's a federal project. Yes, it is, but we're talking about putting 400 million of state money into this $2.1 billion project. And I can look at some elements of that project, and they're not related to just things you expect, getting more traffic through that area in a safe way. Their climate justice, restorative justice. They hired they hired a restorative justice consultant at $3 million. I think they paid $640 an hour to convince people that it's a good project. Now I'm trying to find who paid for that. No matter
Yeah.
if it was tax dollars, right? I
That
don't know
seems
if
to
it
be
was
a
state dollars
misappropriate,
or
yeah,
federal or what.
appropriation of funds to me. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Mm-hmm.
So Richard, on just on the process, I hope Sunday that we do stick to our four. Um, and I can tell you they don't have 36 people back yet. They will on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens there. And I also hope that we have just massive turnout, some additional testimony on House Bill 3991. That's the governor's LC2 package has now got a bill number.
Sure, 3991.
3991.
Are there hearings in addition? Are there new
There,
hearings
the hearing is currently scheduled for Sunday at noon.
Sunday at noon?
Yeah, yeah.
If anyone who's watching this live or recording would like some tips on how to testify, you can get that off the training website at Western Liberty Network. You'll get some good tips. There are also some videos there. You'll get 3 minutes of glory if you're lucky. Testify. You can testify online, or you can testify live in Salem. And this is key. If we can get even one if you can get even one Democrat to balk
Yeah.
at this, that makes all the difference. I'm getting a request from you, Representative Deal, to
I
allow sharing, so I'm going to grant that.
Okay, great. I just want to share a photo real quick,
Mhm.
if I can. So did you grant that request?
I did.
Okay, let's see if I can find this photo. It's a bit grainy, but hopefully people can see that. You see that stack of paper?
Yeah.
There's two stacks of paper. The one on the left is the support
Mhm.
for the bill. The one on the right is the opposition testimony.
Mhm.
That moves the needle.
Yeah. I'm
That
proud to say I'm one of
makes
them.
people think twice.
Yep.
Yes,
That's
about
personal, not
voting yes.
Bill. Yeah.
I just wanted to give, give a visual of what the impact of people's testimony
Mhm.
is. Yeah.
Very good. Does anyone have questions so far? I know that the good doctors had some comments, and absolutely no one has had a comment. Does anyone else have a question or a comment they'd like to share?
So Ed,
Yeah.
what can we do at this point? I'm at church all day Sunday. What I've already done my testimony
Yeah.
via OLIS, but I did not sign up to speak because I heard that the line was so long, people were not able to speak anyway. So I did
You're
not.
right. You're right, Janet. It'll be tough to get in there and speak. I would encourage you to, maybe send another letter. If you go to notaxor.com, it'll automate the process for you a bit. Go to
Oh,
notaxor.com,
okay.
and I can share that in the chat here.
Yeah.
We use this. The Oregon Freedom Coalition set this website up. Thank you to everybody who's supporting that.
Thank you.
But this website, we used it to defeat House Bill 2025 in the regular session. And just over the span of a few days, we had about 10,000 voters, a lot of them non-affiliated voters, reach out in opposition. So it's been revamped for this emergency session. So I'd encourage you to go there.
Okay, thank you.
But I think that's really the biggest thing, Janet, is just continue that outreach. It doesn't hurt to hear it a second for your legislators to hear it a second time from you.
Even the pile of yeses and nos, as you dramatically showed, can be important, even if nobody
Yes.
I
raised.
took a screenshot of that. I plan on putting that on social media.
Good. I'm going to as well. So definitely do it.
Okay,
Yeah.
now Lynette Wyrick has a question. Go ahead, Lynette.
Yes, Representative Deal, I hear that there is a follow-up bill, HB 3992,
Yes.
which is funding to implement 3991. Is that correct?
Well, there's some elements of 3991 that require DAS to do some things, the Department of Administrative Services. So 3992 is I think it amounts to $800,000 of general fund that will be allocated to DAS. It's not a transportation funding bill. It's a budget bill to let DAS do the things that are required of them from this bill.
I have a
Okay.
question on that then on DAS.
Yeah.
Do they have different, I guess, project codes for everything that they work on? Is the reason why they gotta have a special funding bill just to pay them to do their job?
Well, they're being asked to do something specific related to this. It has to do with, remember I said they could be granted the authority to modify taxes by rule without voice of the
Mhm.
legislature. So they're tasked to evaluate this, uh, the revenue balance or the tax balance between light vehicles and heavy duty vehicles, the trucks.
What about EVs?
And they're looking for parity. Well, the interesting thing is on this, the governor has put in this bill that EVs will have to pay a road usage charge, but not immediately. It's phased in later. one of my things is let's just do it today. We could do a flat fee uh, that represents the typical road usage charge for an EV. Do it today. That would bring in another, I think, about $60 million.
Yeah, there's something like 30 some thousand, supposedly court that
Yeah,
report 30,000 EVs that are not paying any type of road tax of any type.
right.
And
They
they're
do pay
heavy
a little
vehicles.
more in DMV fees, but it's still not enough to make up the difference.
No, they should
So,
be charged every
yeah,
kilowatt or
they
something like
should.
that.
So, but when I talked to the governor's office about this, they said, frankly, they have environmental interest groups that don't want to do it at all. And so, plus, the way they want to do it, they want to implement it as a road usage charge that could track mileage potentially.
Yeah.
Voluntarily, they're not going to force it on you yet.
I wouldn't want to do that because they'll
Yeah,
do it to other
but
vehicles next.
but but it costs money to set the system up. That's the other reason they delayed the implementation. They didn't want to have it hit the budget this biennium. So a lot of us feel, well, there's an easy way to do it. Charge a flat fee for road usage to EVs, maybe even one for hybrids, and we could do that today for nothing. But
Yeah, that's a very simple thing. It says you got
yeah,
this type of EV, it's got this much power, whatever, and you're going to drive it this
yeah.
approximately, you get charged this much money.
And a lot of EVs, they're heavier, they
Yeah,
have bigger tires, they're actually doing more damage to the roads than a fuel economy economic gas vehicle.
yeah. I mean, there's over 1,000 pounds of batteries in them.
Yeah,
You know,
Representative Deal,
yeah,
what is your thinking about? I see this periodic and repeated attempt to do per mileage taxation, which necessarily requires tracking of people's travel, in some cases using GPS to track where they travel. They occasionally promise to destroy data after a certain amount of time. I don't know how many people trust that, but it seems to be sort of a gathering movement, and I'd like to know your thoughts
yes.
about that.
Well, I don't like it.
yeah,
I
it's a
don't like it.
privacy concern.
They have currently there's a voluntary system to do that, to either track your mileage or report it. It has had very few people sign up. But my understanding of the way this is going, uh, there will be a road usage charge implementation. How you do it, you'll have the option of paying a flat fee or having your mileage tracked, I believe, automatically. But it would be a voluntary thing. But what I feel is coming down the road is they're eventually going to mandate that,
Mhm.
and I just consider it a invasion of my privacy. I don't
Yeah,
like it.
plus it could be defeated electronically in the car. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yes, it could be. It could be. But that might pose other problems. I could see them, if right now, like I have a Tesla, um, and my wife loves it because she never has to go to a gas station. But it reports, it's tied to their servers. It's reporting all sorts of data to their servers. So what Oregon will do is say, I want access to that server data for Ed Diehl, and that's how they'll be getting it. So it'll be difficult for me to shut it off.
well, that depends. Is the servers in Oregon?
No.
Then they can't order anything.
Oh, maybe no, they couldn't order it.
Yeah,
But who knows?
yeah, I know.
If it's
Some
anything like
point,
the voting data, then they'll have that offshore
yeah.
to some other country.
Yeah. Okay.
Representative Deal, in the state of Montana, their state constitution has a clause that establishes as a right individual privacy.
Hmm.
No such clause exists in the Oregon Constitution. I was involved back in, I think it was '05, with a bill that would amend the Constitution to do that, but we had problems with both the Republican and Democratic caucuses. Um, the Democrats didn't like it because basically they had a list of initiatives they wanted to do, and it would have taken it out of order, and basically they didn't do it.
Oh,
The Republicans didn't want to do it because they thought it would destroy the um, that it would be used to support abortions if individual privacy became a constitutional right. And so it ended up being supported in as a committee bill through the auspices of Senator Boquist, who was the only one who would put his name on it. Uh, I think we need something like that in the Oregon Constitution. And I'm wondering if you have any off the cuff thoughts about such a right and how it might impact um, initiatives to track mileage and track where we go.
that's really interesting. My initial reaction is I would wholeheartedly support that. I would like to know what what Oregon Right to Life, what their concerns were. I trust their judgment, and if they saw something, I'd be very sensitive to that.
Well, they were scared to, Roe v. Wade was the law back then.
Yeah.
And the decision was that the Constitution, US Constitution, while it did not explicitly give a right to individual privacy, that the various parts of the Constitution created a penumbra which effectively created the rights to privacy. That was the law of the land at the time.
Okay.
And so I think what I was told was that initially I had a bunch of Republican co-signers that thought it was a great idea, as you do. But when it came out that the right of privacy would exist, and that it could be used the way the penumbra of the right of privacy could exist in the federal Constitution, all of the Republicans, except Boquist, took their name off.
Interesting.
And
Well,
so I can
we
send you
have
the,
different landscape now. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. My question is what are you trying to get privacy for? Where you're at, where you're going, where you're driving, what you're buying, stuff like that? Or is it talking about I want to have the right to privacy that I got an abortion? I mean, which one is it they're trying to do? There's
Well,
a lot of different privacies.
the language that was in the bill was taken straight off of the Montana Constitution, and it said something to the effect of um, uh, that unless there is a compelling state interest, the right of individual privacy shall not be infringed. It was very simple. It was a one-liner, much
Very
like a lot of the other rights in our Constitution.
good.
So it was very simple. I think it was reasonable. But it seems to me that such a right the language could be crafted in such a way as to alleviate concerns, and I think it would be very popular among Oregonians.
I think this is the right of individual privacy is essential to the well-being of a free society and shall not be infringed without the showing of a compelling state interest.
That's it.
Is that the same
Cool.
one? Oh, we got an emergency because we're laying off 400 some people.
Yeah.
You know, we have this issue now, it's continuous state emergency. So I mean,
Right, right. I mean, I'm drifting from the subject a little bit, and I apologize for that.
okay.
Except that if they're going to be tracking our mileage and tracking where we go, it becomes relevant.
Yeah.
Well,
But
only thing they should be tracking is how many miles you drive. That's it.
So
More.
yeah, I don't even want them knowing that.
that is part of this bill, House Bill 3991, but it is not mandatory.
Hmm.
There are other options for you to pay for the roads besides having your mileage tracked.
Hmm. Back to the legislative session at hand. How do you see this going, Representative Diehl, going forward over the next couple of days? How long might the session last? At what point would Governor Kotek give up? What are your thoughts about going forward?
So I think we will see the end of it this coming week. Uh, that's my guess. I think that it will pass uh, without much change to what we see right now. I'd love to say it's not going to, but and there's a chance that we can kill it.
Mhm.
But that's my guess. That's what we're looking at.
And if it
And
does ultimately pass, do you think, there was some talk about petitioning to have it referred to the vote?
yes, yes, I think we will see that uh,
Mhm.
that there will be a referral.
And how much time will there be to gather the requisite
I
signature?
think there's 90 days, something
90
like
days,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Uh, and as far as the vote, Representative Javity is the only Republican that I know of that will be supporting the bill. That's where he stands right now. It's no secret. Um, he's the only one, the only
Does,
Republican.
does he offer an explanation for that?
Yes, he's been pretty public about why he supports the bill. He's doing it because he sincerely believes it's the best policy. I've had a number of discussions with the representative. I'm telling him that we need accountability first, and his feeling is that we have to do this, and we'll make sure that we get accountability. And I remind him that Charlie Brown thought that too when Lucy laid the football down for the 50th time. Uh, and we tried that route with 2017, and look where we're at.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's uh, doesn't. I'm still talking to him, and there's still an opportunity to continue to do outreach. So he hears from his constituents politely about how this impacts them personally. Those stories will help move the needle for the representative because he's also got a lot of good reasons to vote no.
Mhm.
Yeah. He got angry at me too when I told him about stuff too. So, okay. No,
Well, does anyone else have questions for Representative Deal today?
I have one question. Maybe everybody can answer this. Why was this, what was the rationale declaring this particular meeting for as an emergency meeting requirement? I don't understand what the emergency was.
So,
Because 400 people were getting laid off is not a state emergency. Okay.
uh,
Because people get laid off all the time.
not in the government.
Well, well, in the federal government, they get rifts a lot.
Maybe an
Okay.
intel,
Okay.
but yeah, I think it's an emergency created by the governor. The
Yeah, that's what I'm
governor is
saying.
is giving us a false choice,
Hmm.
and she doesn't want to lay people off. But if you want to motivate people to vote for this thing, tell them we either do this or we have massive layoffs. She created the emergency.
Mhm.
So that's really it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Any other questions for the representative?
I
Does
just want to
anyone?
say thank
Go ahead.
you. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Ed Diehl. Thank you for everyone that's on this. And I have people that are going to be listening to the replay. So thank you very much for taking the time
Yep.
to do this.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Great to be
Thank you,
with you.
Janet. Now, Representative Deal, do you have anything else you would like to say about what people watching the replay here could do to move the needle, as you say?
Well, I'll end it. Like I said before, the biggest thing we can do is to have as many people, regular citizens, reach out to their legislators. Right now, that is the number one thing. Republicans and Democrats alike.
Okay.
And tell your personal story about how this impacts you.
Yep, that is one of the things that the
Yeah.
WLN training on testifying talks about. I advise most activists not to try to compete on the law or on statistics or on science, whatever the bill might be. I encourage them, unless they are a recognized expert on something, to talk about their personal story. In politics, personal stories can be as compelling or more compelling than expert testimony. And I've seen the direction of a bill, the fate of a bill change based
Hmm.
upon the expression of personal stories. I think Representative Deal has seen that as well. And you can find the training document on how to testify, whether you're doing it in writing or you're doing it in person. The formula is the same. And if you go to the training tab of the westernlibertynetwork.org website, then you'll get that. Also, I want folks to mark their calendars. January 31st is going to be the day of the 16th annual WLN Leadership and Training Conference. And we'll have a reception the night before. And Representative Diehl, he participated last year and has generously agreed to participate this year. So that is my spiel for the day. Is there anything else for the good of the order here?
Can I give one more pitch, Richard? And this ties into what you're doing. We need good people, more good people in that building. We need more good people in city councils, in school boards. And it's a pain in the butt, I'm telling you. And it's work. But our country and our state are worth it. And if good conservative folks do not stand up for our values and what's right, somebody else has taken our place in those seats. And they may not, and we see it, they do not agree with us. They do not share our values. So it is essential for us to step out of our comfort zone, step into the breach, and do this work.
Well, thank
And
you very much.
that's why we're working on election integrity.
Yes.
So we
Yes.
can have fair and honest elections.
Yeah. And thank you
We
for
all
that.
know. Thank you. Fraud is running rampant in the state of Oregon.
And I'm hopeful that our president is going to help make some steps in the right direction on that front.
Yes.
Well, with those quasi-partisan statements, again, WLN
I know we're nonpartisan.
those things, but anyway, I would like to thank Representative Diehl again and all of the participants here live. And if you're watching this on the replay, I want to thank you too for standing up and informing yourself about this important legislative session. So unless there's anything else for the good of the order,